Okay, can everybody's attention, we're going to start. Can I have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In conformance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this regular meeting, through notice posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, mailed or have requested and paid for same, and published in the Suburban Trends. Roll call, please.
Mayor Sarah.
Here.
Council President Wright.
She's excused.
Councilman Day.
Here.
Councilman Durango.
Here.
Councilman Deloney excused.
Yes.
Councilman Giaconetti.
Here.
Councilman Bennett.
Here.
With us this evening is our Borough Attorney Joseph Ragno and our Borough Administrator Kevin Boyle.
Okay, so we have some good news about hiring some new officers that we're bringing into the academy and bringing in some specials. So I'd like to start with the specials. So if any of the specials are here, could you please step forward? No specials. No specials. I thought you were here. So when? Till the end. Okay, then we'll start with the officers. I saw Chief Mulway. I thought it was David. Okay, can I have John please? Bring up the family if you like. Come on up. I state your name.
I, John Greco,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I'll support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
police officer,
police officer,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Print. And print.
Yes, sir. The house wants to step forward. House and her family. Right hand up. Right hand up, left hand up. What do you want to hold the button? Right hand on the button. Left hand on the button. Left hand on the button. Left hand on the button. I state your name.
I, Alex Collins,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all duties of
police officer,
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So God. Just time.
Just fill it out. Very nice. Great, thanks. Peter? Like that, right? There you go. I state your name.
I, Pete Pasamato,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I will faithfully, impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
police officer
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Address? Yes, please.
Joseph and family. I state your name.
I, Joe Capagnano,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
police officer
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So it's always nice to see us bringing new officers into town here, you know, especially when they're from town, they grow up in town, they care about the town, they're looking to protect it. I firmly believe that when we bring people in from town, they can protect our town the best more so than anybody else. So I give them encouragement, and I'm sure they're going to fit well into our police staff. We have an outstanding police department, does a great job here. As soon as they're on the road, you'll be seeing them. You know, the biggest concern I've always had when bringing police officers in, they grow up in town, we're a small town, everybody knows everybody. Okay, at the end of the day, if you're doing something wrong, you're gonna get a ticket. Special training there? Special training? You ready? Special. Special, you wanna come forward? We're gonna do you all at once, so special, you wanna come up? You ready? I state your name. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and I will true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
Class 2 Special Officer
Class 2 Special Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
So our specials also do a great job.
Congratulations.
They're doing work when the officer is busy, and they're pretty busy themselves, they all have full-time jobs, and they're also doing special work here for us. So you'll see them in most events that we have, you'll see them in football games, you'll see them on the road driving, so they're another big part of what our team does here. Chief, you have anything you want to say? Okay, can I have, everybody who wishes to to come up forward, just for a picture? And the chief, of course. Yes. I'm in the picture, you're in the picture. You guys are in the picture? Yeah, yes, that's right. You want to start? You want to-
I can do a second.
Okay, you want to-
And I'll-
Mayor, what's the car you drive again? What car are you driving again, Mayor? Well, I'm just curious, everybody knows.
Okay.
Watch out for that car.
You guys. Good job, Mike. Okay, at this point, I give everybody 1 minute to get out of here who doesn't want to stay for the meeting. Whoever stays is staying for the whole meeting. Look at them run. I'm out of here.
You can have mine.
I had my bag already. No, I took my agenda out to bring it down there. Oh, yeah, you put it on the president. Oh, yeah, someone I didn't realize. Someone just told me that. I just heard that today. I thought you were talking about Collins. No, Collins is waiting for the house he bought. It's my friend's house. I told that. Colfax and Durham. Yeah, he's got a nice little cape. Okay. get everybody out of here and we'll move Some more food. I'm always exhausted. Okay, we're gonna start forward here. One sec, please.
I know. I think next year, maybe they can leave that.
No, they won't leave fast. Okay, here we go. Are we all ready here? Yeah. Okay. A lot of people. Which one? Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Okay, you can read it. You want to read it?
Okay. Resolution 1848, authorizing the appointment of police officers in Pompton Lakes Police Department.
Okay, this is just our resolution for the police officers we just put on. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Durango.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deline is excused. Councilman Giaconetti.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
And Councilman Bay.
Yes. Okay. Can I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments? So moved. Second, Councilman Brennan, Councilman Begg, all in favor? Aye. Against? From the audience, if you'd like to speak, please state your name, your address, and try to keep it to 5 minutes. Hands, anybody who'd like to speak? Okay.
This is the flyer.
No, hold on, has to go to clerk.
I'm sorry. More work, Liz.
Yeah, that's right, Ellen, exactly.
Right. Name and address.
Hi, I'm Lane Zablocki, 6 Butler Street, and I'm here as part of the Friends of the Library. We are planning a program that we're very excited about, and I wanted the council to know about it. It's called One Book, One Town. There's a flyer going around. It actually started about 20 years ago. A librarian in Seattle came up with this idea, and towns and even cities have done it over that time. We did some research. I wanted to find a book that I thought was suitable for the town, and we actually have 2 books, one for adults and one for younger readers. They are fabulous stories. The Thunder Dog is the true story. Michael Hingston was on the 78th floor of the North Tower on 9/11 with his seeing eye dog. And the story of how they made it down 1,400 steps, and it's interspersed with the story of his dealing with his blindness. He was born in 1950, and at that time he was premature. At that time, premature babies were put into incubators and had oxygen pumped into them until their lungs developed, but they did not realize that they were blinding the babies. So there were about 10,000 babies born during that time period, including Stevie Wonder, which I did not know, who were blinded. So the story is really about 9/11 and how he and his beloved dog escaped, and about his experience growing up blind. The children's book is Keep Your Eye on the Ball, also based on a true story about a boy who is actually, he's blind. He has no problem in school. The kids are really helpful to him, but tries to play kickball. He has difficulty. So the kids recognize that there's so much noise out there that when he gets up to kick the ball, everybody quiets, and the kid stands at first and says, "I'm here," so he can hear the sound. They're wonderful stories, so we're really excited about it. I've been in contact with the school district, and we're hoping to partner with them. We have just started to announce this in the papers, and we will, of course, have a sign at Pompton Day about the event, and we're looking at early September as a day to kind of meet at the library. We don't know how many people will do this, so it could be 20 people, it could be 200 people. I'm hoping for the 200. But we will have, we will have groups. I don't really want it to be homework. I don't want it to be a great deal of effort on anybody's part except to read for fun. Our goal is literacy and community spirit, which is why, we're doing this. So I wanted you to know about it. We will advertise it frequently. The books will be available in the springtime, and if anybody has any ideas and wants to partner with us, we're still kind of brainstorming ideas for this, but we're really excited, so thank you.
Thank you. The gem one of our gems in town is our library, that most people kind of drive by and just take a look and don't know it's there, I love the fact that you guys are getting involved with the library to bring more attention to the library. I've been involved with the library even before I was mayor and council. I was on there, and it's a good group that you have going, and it's a good group at the library. So I thank you and your other members for what you're doing as a friend of the library, which is, at the end of the day, trying to help the library stay where it is. Libraries all across the country right now, especially New Jersey, are having tough times. It's just the budget cuts are really hitting home. So these groups really do help us with the library, so thank you, and we will definitely spread the word.
I will convey that to them. We have lots of great activities planned, so this is just the only community-wide one that we wanted to make sure you knew about.
Sure, and we can always put it up on our electronic page over at the library if you think something like this could go up there. So
yes,
let us know.
They've been very good. Karen's been very helpful about putting all of our activities up there, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address?
My name is Gregory Wayne Cockafair. I'm from 26 Albert Street, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. Three kids before me. I was born prematurely in Mountainside General Hospital in Montclair and also Glen Ridge. 3 kids that got the incubators before me went blind. I got the one incubator that wasn't oxygenated. And I grew up with one of the kids in school that were blind. And that person I always had respect for because I could have been that person. So what that book does has personal interest in me. So I'll definitely be at that meeting. I'm so glad that there's new policemen because in the atmosphere today, we need them. Also, as a veteran of the United States Coast Guard, I know what it's like to swear in. I know the value of swearing in. But I also know the value of responsibility. And I just think that it's so precious that in this town, everybody knows everybody. And that's so precious. I went to school with people, and the first time I've ever gone into the youth center there by, what do you call it?
Theater, yeah.
First time I've ever been in the teen center because my brother's he's a special person. My brother's special needs. He's been doing the, cheerleading there. And Beck knows him, and I think everybody in town knows Russell. Well, anyway, it's so precious that, the town cares for people that are special needs, cares for people that are in need. And right now, our family's in need, but our financial matters are being met slowly. And I'm glad to be a part of this town.
Thank you, and we're glad you're part of this town. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up.
Mr. Cielo, 444 Midland Avenue. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I missed the last meeting. We're good. Councilman Giaconetti, it's been about 6 months that I asked if we could get a sign that says "Save Our Children," speed 25 miles an hour, because there's more young children moving into our block, and they're still speeding because they're trying to avoid the light going from Willow to Ringwood Ave, so they cut through us, and I almost got hit. So I can imagine if one of our parents or grandparents has their child running into the street. It's very dangerous, and we need something. So,
well, wait, what we can do, we can work on a sign. I don't know the logistics of putting up a sign, but what we can do is contact the police department. Please let them know. Bill, you're doing police now?
I'd just like to know how we can get one of those signs. And
I'd have to look into it. Kevin, do we know anything about those kind of signs?
Yeah, that's something, normally you buy them from vendors.
you know, a lot of
It's not
times.
regulatory sign.
Right, it's not a regulatory sign, so
Yeah, it's
I'll be
not.
honest, we're trying not to put up a lot of signs in neighborhoods because it
Yes.
it
But to
becomes...
answer your question, Mayor, I've talked to Chief, they did the traffic survey at Miller's request,
Yeah.
and my feeling is if there was an issue, I would have known about it, but I'll double check back to Chief.
All right, let's get a count, we'll do a
You have to
count.
go in the morning when everybody's going to work, and you have to come in the afternoon when everybody's coming home. That's, during the day, it's not that much traffic. It's just the people going to work and coming back
All right, well,
home.
we can work around, we can make a count on the times
I
too.
mean, I can count you the cars that go flying. I mean, we try to stop them ourselves, you know, slow down, but...
Yeah, but they put the actual meters down and they'll tell you how fast they're going, you know, so we'll get an actual report on it.
Because once they get to Broad Street, they have the meter there, so they slow down there, of course, because once they zoom through here, then they have the machine there for
Right,
the truck.
from the Tilcon, yeah.
Right, they have it there, so there they slow down, but it's that block that...
All right, we can reach out to them. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Step up, please.
You're Randy Hitton, 440 Clear Avenue. I was just wondering if you can give a little update on the status of Channel 77? I'm making a few calls, and people have been giving me a few answers, if you can just make a little update as to its status.
I can give you a status. I think status has been given to you by our borough administrator also, who would have the most information.
But this is for the public.
Okay, the public, we are moving our cable line from the high school. This is the request from the cable company, not from us, to our building. It's going to take about a month to make that. They have to dig a new trench, they have to put a new line in. We have no control on how they do that. That's their work. Once they have that up and running, then we have to get all the components back together again to work properly. The time frame we're hoping is a month, but we can't hold to that. That's where we are with Channel 77 at this point. Right at this moment, if anybody wants to watch our meetings, they can go on the computer and watch it. It will be online there. But right now, it will not be up on Channel 77 until Cablevision moves the line.
At the last reorganization...
Can I say
meeting-
one thing, though?
Sure.
They are being taped, so eventually, when 77 does get revitalized, we can then run these meetings, to catch up to the meetings.
Thank you. At the reorganization meeting, when you gave out all the liaisons, I think, the community garden wasn't mentioned at all in there. Liaison on that and the activity.
That is not a liaison group, that is a subcommittee, environmental group.
Oh, it is?
Yes, so we don't announce subcommittees.
All right, so then,
Right.
why it wasn't in?
Right.
Okay. Just wondering if I can get an action on Resolution 1834, before you read them off. 1845 and 1846.
Hold on, say them again, which ones?
1834
Change order. 34, okay.
and 1845, 46.
45, I don't see 45.
That's in the second resolutions under...
Separate action.
Under
Oh,
seven.
separate action. 45 and 46, you said?
Yes.
Okay, well, those are new employees replacing employees that had left, those last two. One of them is our DPW supervisor, Ben, who has left, he retired. And one is Miss Barbara Padula, who was working in the office, who has retired also. So these are replacement positions.
So Host has taken her position, and
She is,
the new Mr. O'Rourke has taken
Ben's position, yes.
his position. Okay.
And the other one you mentioned,
1834.
the change order, Mayor.
It's a change order.
It's just a change order on a requirement for a grant. You know, there were some changes made in the grant, and we have to put it out there again.
It says ramp.
We had done the ADA handicap grants over the summer, over by your neck of the woods.
Right.
And it was $800 change order.
Okay,
So
so it
it
wasn't,
required by law, any change orders have to have a resolution, so it has to change order.
Anytime there's a change, we have to put it in resolution.
right. Well, it's just, the way I read it, it said ramp, so we're talking multiple ramps on the sidewalks, not just one specific ramp.
That was outside of contract with the ADA grant construction.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hi, how you doing?
Laura
Name and
Jennings,
address.
424 Midland Ave, so basically my whole neighborhood here. Hi, everybody. I brought this up recently talking to Councilman Venom, and he
encouraged me to come talk about it here. I don't know any of the logistics involved, but I do run around town frequently. Probably everyone knows that. And it's really unsafe on Ringwood Ave. I live over on Midlands, and I run down Ringwood toward Newark, Pompton Turnpike, Hamburg Turnpike area. There's no sidewalks on that area. It's especially dangerous in the winter.
So I'm just going to interrupt you one second. Ringwood Avenue is a county road.
Okay.
So we have no jurisdiction over those roads.
None at all, okay.
The county is the only one that has jurisdiction.
That's all I wanted to express it as a
Right.
safety
So, but
concern.
what I'm going to suggest to you is you can either send an email to the county executive, and we can give you that information,
That'd be great.
or they have their own meetings, just like this,
Okay.
once a month, and you can go there and they have an open session, you can bring it up there also.
Okay. you
And we
can
would
do that
support
as
the
well?
fact of wanting sidewalks anywhere we don't have sidewalks.
Yeah.
So we would support that, but we can't put them in, it has to be the county.
Okay. And how should I give you my info to get me the
Do we have any contact information offhand, or?
Awesome. Okay.
Right, so you can actually, and I've gone myself and asked for, the last time I was down there for Pete Camper, we asked for a plaque on the bridge. Again, we don't own bridge, so I can't put the plaque on, I had to go to the county, and I went as a resident asking to put the bridge up there, and they did do it. So they do listen to what the residents have to say
Okay.
outside the county. But you could also send them an email, which I'm sure our business administrator can give you an
Okay,
email.
I'll try and do both.
Okay?
Thanks.
Thanks. Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session? So moved.
Second.
Councilman Vedin, Councilman Giaconetti, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Approval of minutes. Motion to approve the following minutes. Special meeting minutes, December 13th, 2017. Regular meeting minutes of December 13th, 2017. Reorganization meeting minutes of January 3rd, 2018. Can I have a motion? Councilman Begg?
Second, Mayor.
Councilman Branco, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Bills and claims. Motion to approve the following bills list as listed below. Can I have a motion? Motion. Councilman
Second.
Begg? Councilman Giaconetti?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Consent agenda. Does anybody have any consent agendas they'd like removed or explained? Take her away, Liz.
Whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Pompton Lakes have reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, and whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Pompton Lakes does not desire to move resolutions for individual action from that agenda, now therefore be it resolved, the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Giaconetti, Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Separate actions, please, yes.
Okay. Resolution 1837, authorizing a contract for the acquisition of goods or services pursuant to NJSA 1944A-24 and/or NJSA 1944A-20.5 with Hunter Mark Agency.
Boy, that's a mouthful.
I'm in safe states.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Councilman Giaconetti.
Second.
Councilman Bennett. Roll call, please. So all in favor? I'm sorry.
No, roll
call. Roll call.
Councilman Branco.
Yes.
Councilman Giaconetti.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Begg.
Yes.
Resolution 1838, authorizing a contract for acquisition of goods or services pursuant to state statute with Robert Reinfield, Esquire of Hawkins, Delafield, and Wood.
Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilman Begg.
Second.
Councilman Branco. Roll call, please.
Councilman Branco.
Yes.
Councilman Giaconetti.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Begg.
Yes.
Resolution 1839, authorizing a contract for acquisition of goods or services pursuant to state statute with Ferriero, Wilcox, Cerule, and Kuba.
Can I have a motion? So moved. Councilman Bennett, Councilman Begg. Roll call, please.
Councilman Branco.
Yes.
Councilman Giaconetti.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Begg.
Yes.
Resolution 1840, authorizing the contract for acquisition goods or services pursuant to state statute with Struble, Ragno, attorneys at law, Joseph A. Ragno.
Have a motion? So moved. Councilman Bennett?
Second.
Councilman Giaconetti? Roll call, please.
Councilman Branco.
Yes.
Councilman Giaconetti.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Begg.
Yes.
Resolution 1841, authorizing a contract for acquisition goods or service pursuant to NJ's state statute with Tilton Occupational Health Center at the system.
Can I have a motion? So moved. Councilman Bennett?
Second, Mayor.
Councilman Barranco, roll call, please.
Councilman Barranco?
Yes.
Councilman Jacanetta?
Yes.
Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Councilman Day?
Yes.
Resolution 1842, authorizing a contract for acquisition, goods, or services pursuant to state statute Atlantic Health System Filton Medical Center.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Councilman Begg,
Second.
Councilman Bennett, roll call, please.
Councilman Barranco?
Yes.
Councilman Jacanetta?
Yes.
Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Councilman Day?
Yes.
Resolution 1843, authorizing a contract for acquisition of goods or services pursuant to state statute with Ferriero Engineering.
Have a motion.
So moved, Mayor.
Councilman Barranco,
Second.
Councilman Bennett, roll call, please.
Councilman Barranco?
Yes.
Councilman Jacanetta?
Yes.
Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Councilman Day?
Yes.
Resolution 1845, appointment of Daniel O'Rourke to the position of interim superintendent of public works effective February 12, 2018.
Can I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Councilman Barranco, Councilman Jacanetta. Just so that everyone understands what we're doing, first of all, I'd like to welcome Daniel, he's in the back there. But the reason we're having an interim is because our supervisor that's there now had time carried over through his years of service to stay on the books for a little while, but he's out on surgery for his knee. So in the meanwhile, we need to have someone to run the DPW, so he will be the interim until his time in service runs out, our older supervisor. That's why it's an interim. But we welcome Daniel, and hopefully we hear good things. This council will support you, I will tell you that. So can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Barranco?
Yes.
Councilman Jacanetta?
Yes.
Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Councilman Day?
Yes.
Resolution 1846, appointment of Kathleen Croce to the position of Deputy Borough Clerk effective January 11, 2018.
Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second, Mayor.
Made, Councilman Branco. Roll call, please. Any discussion? This is to replace, like I said before, our deputy clerk, Barbara Padula. We wish her well in her retirement, and we welcome Kathy. Hopefully you'll do well in the office. I'm sure you will.
It'll be a great addition.
And it will be a great addition to the staff, and, you know, the staff in general for the last year and a half with Barbara's absence has been overtime, so I thank the whole staff in there. There's been a lot of times where we've been shorthanded. This will bring us back to the numbers that we need to be to run our office properly, so things should work better there now. Roll call, please.
Councilman Barranco?
Yes.
Councilman Jacanetta?
Yes.
Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Councilman Day?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so quickly, even though we're not being televised, I will do a year in review that I usually do, but it's just some highlights of what's gone on in the last year. Happy New Year to everyone and welcome. This mayor and council has been very busy for the last year. We have a new interactive web page with many questions can be answered, from tax maps to flood zones. You can sign up for text, emails, and phone calls from this website for every different department in town and every committee we have in town. I would recommend to all residents to give it a check, look at it. You can pick and choose things you want texts or emails sent to you about. It will remind you of times, it will remind you of upcoming events. So it's a very interactive website. A lot of time and energy was put into making it. I'm happy to see it up there. As I mentioned before, we've had some retirees and employees that have left our borough in the last year. We thank them for all their service. We've placed them with new employees that we think will do a great job there. At the same time, we've saved some tax dollars with some of the employees that we replaced, hiring new employees, so that's always a benefit when we're hiring new employees. The council and myself have made a priority of cleaning up our town, sending out inspectors to make sure property owners are keeping up on their properties and making their neighborhoods look clean. The town shows outside visitors we care about our community. I know some people get upset about that inspectors are there knocking on their door, but at the end of the day, it's for the community's benefit and the neighborhood's benefit, and I think they've been doing a great job. Along with that, we've had a shared service agreement with the Borough of Riverdale for construction code services. The new agreement will bring in a minimum of $40,000 into our borough every year that we'll use to offset the costs in our departments. The 5-year agreement joins on with ongoing agreements we have with Wanacue, Bloomingdale, and Ringwood. This is a new shared service. Anytime we can bring a shared service into town, this is a good thing. It helps our tax base, and we get the same service, so I'm thankful we have that new shared service. The cleanup of the lake is coming to an end after a couple of years. Thank God. They've done a good job over there. I have very few complaints about the cleanup of the lake. The next step will be putting the lake back together the way it was when they started, with improvements. There is a improvement that will be added that weren't there before, and we're in discussions on how that's going to go. It should be done by the end of this year, and we should be done with the lake project. Redevelopment has taken root and is growing strong. We have 88 confirmed units being built as we speak. The first time in many years that the downtown has seen scaffolding up and buildings being built. You know, that's a nice plus to see downtown, when you see moving forward and improvement. At the same time, through the pilot program, bringing ad dollars to our budget. And remember, the pilot is a payment in lieu of taxes, and that's a 30-year program, and if these redevelopment projects take hold, it will bring more money into our tax basis. Again, I always have to remind people, yes, we'll be bringing money in, but we're going to try to stabilize our tax basis. I'm not going to lie to you, our taxes will never probably go down unless something drastic happens, but we're trying to stabilize best we can. We are in talks of trying to bring back our radio station. We're hearing more about that in the next couple months. Unfortunately, the radio station decided on their own to close down. It had nothing to do with the borough or the county asking them. The radio station said they've had enough of the business. We understand what kind of a vital tool this was for our town, so we are in some talks with other people that might be able to make a go of it. There's nothing solid yet, but hopefully in the near future we'll have something going. Our recreation programs are strong and very successful, with Pompton Day, the Holiday Stroll, or Senior Luncheon, just to name a few. We have a very strong and dedicated recreation department. The residents support it. The members of that group work very hard to make sure these programs work, so I thank them for that. I can say firsthand that this council cares about the community that they live in and and they work extremely hard to listen to the residents' concerns. Many a time, a councilman has brought a single concern over to me and said, could you please look into this for a resident? You know, this is the arm of the town here that you're looking at here, and they don't shy away from an issue if something is brought to them, good or bad. And I appreciate that. That's the way a town is going to get better, by making improvements for what they hear. I take pride in answering the phone. If someone leaves a message on my phone machine or my cell phone, I will call you back. If they make suggestions, I will listen to them. You know, we're all in this together up here. Everyone you see lives in town. We all pay taxes. We all think our taxes are too high, and we sit up here. So, you know, we're working to make things better. We all have to remember, at the end of the day, we're a town that has a strong community sense, and we have to stay with that. People are going to have differences. They're always going to have differences. But at the end of the day, what makes Pompton Lake strong is the community. And I thank the community for everything they've done in the last year to make this a better place to live. And lastly, I have to thank all our volunteers, and there's too many to name, but when you look at our fire department and our first aid and our CERT, you know, we have record number of people in all these groups. These are all made up of volunteers from town. They don't get paid. They don't get anything extra to do what they have to do. They're always out there when we need to have them out there. So I thank all our committees, all our groups, and all our residents, and I wish everyone a happy new year and a great new year coming forward. The only other thing I had is I should talk about a little about, we had a redevelopment meeting last night at the high school, explaining what redevelopment is and how it's going to affect the town. I would say there was, 50 to 75 residents there. I thought they asked a lot of great questions. There was communication back and forth. And really, at the end of the day, about redevelopment, it's about educating the public, understanding what it is and what it's about. We understand we have a charm to this town that we don't want to lose. It's there to stay, but we also understand we have to move forward to the next century and make things better. So it's a compromise on both sides. It's not a perfect science. I've said this before. It's not written in stone on how to do things. There will be mistakes and there will be accomplishments. We'll work through them and try to get through them the best we can. But at the end of the day, we all have to remember, redevelopment is here for the fact of upping our tax base. This is the biggest concern, single concern, very closely followed by why don't we have a supermarket. But the first one is, why are our taxes so high? So this is why we have to address the redevelopment so carefully. Speaking about the supermarket, I know we would love to have a supermarket here. We've tried very, very hard with our planning board and redevelopment agency to reach out to these supermarkets. The supermarkets are just not a growing field right now. A lot of people are doing their shopping in many different ways, and supermarkets are not a place that they want to rebuild. It's unfortunate. So we're going to still push on the owners of the property. I talk to them on a monthly basis, but right now, I'm not going to lie to anybody, there is no set notice of a supermarket coming in. And that's unfortunate, because we deserve to have a supermarket here. So the next best thing is maybe we can work out is get a smaller type of supermarket to work in there. More to follow on that. And I have one motion. Motion to reappoint Lloyd Kent as Commissioner to the Pompton Lakes MUA for a 5-year term effective February 1st, 2018 through January 31st, 2023. 2023, oh my goodness.
So move, Mayor.
Councilman Branco?
Second.
Councilman Begg, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, Councilman Begg.
I received the Pompton Lakes Riverdale report for the month of December and the year-end report from January 2012. There were 97 calls for the month of December and 1,216 calls for the year 2017. There were 36 calls in December in Pompton Lakes and 609 for the year. There were 22 calls in Riverdale for December and 298 calls in Riverdale for the year. There were 15 duty calls in Wanacue for the month and 104 for the year. There were 56 medical emergency calls in December and 680 during the year. Trauma and injury calls, there were 18 for December and 179 for the year. In December, there were 4 CPR calls and 21 START calls for the year. December also had 9 motor vehicle accident calls and 138 calls for the year. There were 4 fire calls for December and 77 fire calls for the year. I attended Pompton Lakes Board of Education meeting January 9th. Danny Aguilar, Lincoln School teacher, and Marissa Lembo, Lincoln School teacher, gave curriculum report to the board on the elementary education program. They covered the elementary science, mathematics, and social studies programs. They spoke about the emphasis on reading and writing literacy as the most important component in learning and its use across the curriculum disciplines. They also spoke about the integration of technology in the learning process and its importance in learning. Each class, grades 3 through 5, has a cart, Chromebooks, computers, which in effect gives each student their personal computer. They also attended the Pompton Lakes Chamber of Commerce meeting on December 9th. The Chamber worked with Pompton Lakes Police Department with their Christmas gift program. It was reported 45 children were in need of Christmas gifts. The Chamber President, Arcofka, reported that the Chamber will be donating $400 to each of the food pantries, St. Mary's, and the Pompton Reformed Church. Art also reported that the Chamber will again sponsoring the Pompton Lakes Little League team. And that's how it
Good. Was there a lot of discussion about the field last night?
There was, some discussion at the field. Millie, what he had her say. There was, and some of the one thing that came up was trying to make notice, particularly to the neighbors of the field, on Lakeside Ave, on Lennox Ave. The board didn't really reach out per se to the neighbors. They made general announcements before.
Okay.
And that was something we're going to try and address in the future.
Okay. Councilman Branco.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of shifting and liaison duties for me this year with Rec Commission, which has not met yet this year, remaining on MUA and Library Board. So, Ms. Zablocki, I look very much forward to working with you guys and whatever you guys are trying to accomplish over at the library. I believe very much in our library. So I don't have much of a report. I will say, Happy New Year. We didn't speak much at our reorganization meeting, so I want to just kind of mirror Mayor Serra's sentiments to Mr. O'Rourke. Thank you so much for taking on this responsibility. It's a big task. That department needs strong leadership. and I echo what he said in that we are all behind you. And I'd like to also welcome and thank Kathleen Trost for joining Liz in her tremendous workload, and she was very excited to have you on board. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Giaconetti.
Thanks, Mayor. First, I'd like to say, with your comments, Mayor, I had the distinction of serving under three mayors, Mayor John Marin, Mayor Katie Cohen, yourself, Mayor Zara, and all three of you were unique and distinguished in your own ways. But on the other end, it's good to know that having you as a mayor, in my perspective, Greg, is great. You do a good job.
Thank you.
You're always there, I call you, you're on top of things, and I wanted to tell you, I appreciate it, to have somebody always there, and you do a lot of work, a lot of volunteering, and so you know that, thank you for your service, and you go above and beyond, and I wanted to appreciate it, being on council, I know how hard you work, thank you. All right, so I wanted to get that out there. Also wanted to congratulate the 4 officers sworn in tonight, wish them a good, rewarding, exciting career in their journeys ahead. It's a good department, it's a 22-man department now, and, you know, I know they're going to do good. We have a lot of good men over there, and hopefully good things for them. I wanted to wish well to our new superintendent, wish him much success, and also to our new deputy clerk, wish him much success too in new position. All right, congratulations both of you, and wish you well. Attended the Board of Health meeting. Mayor, you were there. I know we were discussing one of the things as far as the barricades, and I know they're going to take it up to the next meeting, just so the mayor and council and everybody else knows. We're going back and forth as far as, like, some of your eateries, per se, like, for instance, like Thatcher's, how a lot of times during the summer they have the outdoor eatery. Well, they're going to be grandfathered in. But a lot of these new eateries, when we do the redevelopment, whether the new guys that start here, they're going to want to have an outdoor cafe, whether we have to have little ballards, or like Jersey barriers, or like almost planter boxes, so this way cars can't come up there and hit the people sitting out there. And I know the mayor discussed a lot of the development might be set back 20, 30 feet, and how do we do that? So I know we're going to be working between the Board of Health and with the construction officials, so that'll be brought up a little bit more. So I know we did discuss that. I know we also discussed that night, it started in Morris County, but they're going to probably bring it forward to everybody, just so it's called the Stigma-Free Communities Initiative. And what that is for mental health. And it's, what per se is just to have a community to start something that if somebody has a problem, we can be open-minded. They would come to like our Pompton or National Allowed, they would have a booth up there. So this is something just to start the dialogue, that people can come here, and eventually we can get some funding, and they can maybe even work with, I know the mayor brought up a good point, work with our coalition in conjunction with them to work on this. You have the drugs and the mental health. A lot of times they're the same issues. You're going to have drug problems, well, a lot of times it's related to mental health issues also. So they work together, so I thought it was something good. It's an initiative they want to take. I thought it was a good direction. Mayor thought so also. So that'll be coming forward too, just so everybody knows. But it was a good, productive meeting. And the last thing I had was an article, a few weeks back. I really didn't get a chance to bring it up, but they're doing it in, it was on Wednesday, January 3rd. They're doing it in the county of, Bergen County. And what they're doing, they're having all the towns sign on, to almost do like a shared local agreement with equipment. So I know a lot of times it's mentioned up here, somebody wants, a bucket truck maybe, or an extra plow or something. And I thought that maybe is a good idea, have Kevin maybe reach out to them, or somebody from the county, or we reach out to them, and see if they want to maybe try this kind of initiative.
Now, who put that together, the county or the town?
I think it was the county that actually put it together.
Does the same county have a co-op? Morris County has a co-op.
This is something, this is a shared equipment by, let's say somebody has a tub grinder. You share a tub grinder.
Yeah.
That's pros and cons.
Yeah, exactly, right, just pros and cons. I mean, if we have it, we break it, I'm sure we're gonna be responsible for it. But it just opens up another avenue to say, instead of trying the expense of a bucket truck, or for instance, or an extra plow or something, if we can use that and our guys on it to do some work with it, and they can loan it to us, we're paying the same county taxes, I thought it was a good idea.
Well, we can maybe reach out to some of the...
Something to look at, maybe, I don't know, like I said, like Kevin said, there's pros and cons, but I just want to bring it to everybody's attention. Yeah, I just thought maybe something, maybe positive. Hey, we never use it, but it's always something, at least it's there, it's a tool.
Gonna make one person in the audience very happy about it.
Exactly, so, but, that's all I have, Mayor, thank you.
That's what you said.
Thank you, Phil, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Bennett.
Want to wish everybody Happy New Year. I'd like to congratulate our 4 new officers as well as Kathy Trost and our new superintendent. The mayor mentioned our new website, but he didn't mention our new domain name. We also registered for a .gov domain. So our new, as of April, I think it was, or last year, PomptonLakes-NJ.gov.
How long do we have on the old one that we're looking to transfer it over?
Indefinitely.
Forever?
Yeah, we're gonna hold on to that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Just redirect. It'll still redirect, so you'll still get to the site with the old domain name. I went to my first Shade Tree Commission meeting. You guys do a lot of work, a lot of detailed information there that you guys got to go through every time and follow up. So that's very interesting, different committee than I'm used to. I went to the development meeting last night at the high school. It was very well attended. Good dialogue, and the key is to educate the community so that it's change for the sake of change is not necessarily good, but this is a good type of change. And the folks that are unsure about where we're going with this, it's going to these meetings is important to educate yourself, and you can go ahead and educate your neighbors and friends. Redevelopment meetings are Thursday at 7:30.
Except this Thursday.
I was going to get to that. Okay. Except for this month, it's the 15th in this room at 7:30. That's Monday, the 15th.
Monday coming up, yeah.
That tech committee was canceled, but the monitors project for this chambers is moving forward. We're looking to install monitors so that for the redevelopment agency meetings or for planning board meetings, anywhere where architects or engineers have to come in and show plans. In previous years, they currently come up with paper and got a easel, and it's tough for the audience to see what the days folks up here are seeing, and vice versa. So we're gonna have a nice big monitor behind the mayor, then we'll have two monitors up on either side so we can see what the audience sees without everybody shifting around. So Mayor mentioned volunteers. The town runs on volunteers, from sports to the various boards. If you'd like to get involved, please see any of us up here. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. That's all I got. Thank you.
I think you have a motion.
Actually, you have one more.
Oh, right. So,
the discussion of an ordinance.
Yes.
Are you going to do that for Eric? Although I'll
Well, before we get, I forgot to mention, I need one closed session on negotiation.
No, I'll take it, unless you want to. There's an ordinance that should have been under Councilman Lyons' ordinance committee report. It's under Councilman Beck because Eric's not here. But all it is it's an ordinance that changes a number of things in the zoning code, all of which came from the planning board. These are all planning board recommendations. So read it over. It'll be on for a first reading at the next meeting. If there are changes to it, well, even if there aren't changes to it, it has to go back to the planning board for one more review. But if there are changes to it, then it'll go back to the planning board for a longer period of time. But the changes aren't major. They're things that have been hanging around for a while at the planning board, and they finally want to get them covered.
Okay. Professional reports, while you were talking.
Are we talking about the same closed session?
Yes.
Okay, and I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Administrator's report.
I have a couple things, Mayor. The council received the actual hard copies. We're having issues with our copy machine and system. Unfortunately, when we did a changeover of the power supply here, we did a quarterly change with the generator. Blew something in the copy machine, and so we have no scanning. The big copy machine's down right now, so they had to get a hard copy. The first thing I want to talk about is Millennium Strategies year-end report. As you know, Millennium Strategies is our grant coordinator, and Sue and her staff have been working for us for many years.
Last year alone, Money and Strategies brought in over $300,000 in grant funding. And I think our actual cost to them is around $28,000. So they made their money, we made our money and more on them. Also, it's important to note there are two major grants out there for $280,000, which we will be getting. One is the paving for Montclair Avenue, and also a grant for the FBI to provide a new reporting system. But I think, remember, the chief, I mentioned one of 3 or 4 towns
Correct, yeah.
that have been chosen to be part of this new program. So that's another almost $200,000. So that's they've been very helpful for us. I just wanted to make that statement. Firehouse subs, we were applying for funding for the new monitors for the river. That was denied. We're going to stop that process and try to figure another way around the process and get maybe some funding, and maybe go back to the federal government for that funding. As you know, we joined the Morris County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund January 1st. The kind of welcome letter is there. The Passaic County Open Space grant application is due March the 13th. As you know, we've had a couple of concepts and projects to look at, but given the fact that the Morris Canal Greenway, the actual bid was over budget, and can only do one phase out of 3, we're going to go back to the county and see if they can help fund the last 2 phases of that project. We'll be running about another $100,000. So we're going to make that application.
Kevin, was there any other open space items that we were trying to address?
Yeah, we were looking at the boils down at Willow, but at this point in time, we want to try to finish that project off with as much town funding as possible. And then we have an important letter here, number 7, is a letter from Ricardo Sullivan. Ricardo Sullivan is from the FBLA, and the FBLA wants to basically get donations to put signs, advertisement, on fences along the fields at Hirschfield Park. Bottom line is we don't regulate that. It's not a zoning issue. We've already met with Sal, but the concern is that it's something the council, because a lot of it's going to be on our property, and so the thing is, you know, from the council, they have any issues with the possibility of the FBLA trying to raise donations to put signs on the field, on the field.
All right, so I was at the Board of Ed meeting, and what happened was the FBLA came up with a plan that shows a way that they could bring revenue, and some of the revenue was pretty high if it was to work. They had some pretty high numbers to make it work. And it was just basically putting advertisement signs of businesses on our fencing down at Hirschfield. The problem was that they didn't realize is that we own the fencing down there, not the school. So that's what Kevin's bringing up now to us. We have no guidance or rules on it, on posters on fencing. So we have to decide if that's something we want to do or not. We would not get any of the revenue, by the way. It would go to the FBLA and to the school. So that's something we should discuss. Do they need a decision like?
No, but I wanted to make sure you saw the letter and, have some direction very shortly.
Right.
I think looking at March timeframe so you can get.
See, and that would be the other thing that came up. And I had to turn to our attorney. Do we have to be responsible because it's our fencing on how it works?
Yeah, it's your fencing. Yeah, you could probably delegate that authority to them, but I think you probably, if you're going to generate revenue, you might even get off a bid after.
All right, well, those are answers.
Well, you answer one question. They're looking for a March timeframe because they want to have signs up in time for tennis season, baseball season, that type of thing. So, you have a copy of my report, Joe. It's number 7 on my report.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of the question was, there's 2 parts here. There's the part that we own, and then there's the part that they own. The part that they own, they were looking to us to see if there were any restrictions from our building department.
No,
which was none.
No.
So we can get back to them now and tell them on their own property, they can do whatever they want. On our fencing, which I think we own coming down the street and all that, that would be a different ballgame. But if they wanted to start the process their own, unless someone here has an issue with that.
My understanding of that is that they were going to use the fencing on the football field, which is Board of Education.
On that area, yes.
I don't know that they were going to place any signs beyond that.
Right. So does anybody have an issue with them doing it on their own property?
Of course not.
We have no guidance on that.
I was at that meeting.
All right, so they didn't even tell us this.
If it comes to our fence, I was at that meeting. If it comes to our fence, we can address that then, but until then. let them put it up,
Just let the governing body know that we did receive a letter from the county tax board, relative to the revaluation. We're now still having public discussion with the residents and the revaluation company, but the tax list is only extended to February 5th. So after February 5th, Mike Barker is going to certify a tax list, and that will be the number that will go to the county and be on your tax bills in August.
All right, so some residents are asking me, all this time that they spent coming here and talking to these people, what happens at that point? What happens at that?
Well, what will happen is you will get your card. I mean, there's no additional appeal process. They'll take into account your concerns. They might make some adjustments.
When does that happen, though? I mean, it's the middle of January now. I mean,
those cards will go out, as I mentioned to you, they have to go out the March-April timeframe. But the tax list will be set. It's not going to be we can go back and...
No, I understand. You can't go back and talk to them.
Right, but then you can file a tax bill.
Right, then you can file a tax bill. But what people are asking me, did it do me any good going to talk to those people if they found mistakes?
It does.
If they found a mistake, it should.
It does. These gentlemen, I've talked to all the guys who come, these gentlemen said they have made some changes, and they have made suggestions to go back to Mike and to the higher ups at the evaluation company, look at maybe some issues.
So there will be some changes, some slight changes on things, up or down, I don't know, but there could be.
That's right.
Before the final comes out.
Right, and then you'll get your finals.
Because I know you went there, I went myself.
Yeah, I went. I mean, a lot of residents did, and the concern I hear from residents is, what is it doing for me to go there? So there's a possibility that what they tell them, if they think it's relevant enough, that it could change their tax base.
There's a possibility.
Okay.
So they had a discrepancy in mind. The guy came back out and counted the rooms, make sure that, they said I had 2 family rooms, and I had a den. So the guy made an update to that, and they also had an open porch, but there isn't, it's a front stoop, so they updated that as well.
Okay, so maybe that'll
It's
help.
worth it for them to...
Okay. So the last scheduled meeting then is probably the next week, right?
I don't know.
It's just for next week.
Yeah, I think
I know that.
And then by March, we should all get letters and,
Well,
all the cards?
you get your postcard.
Your tax card, right, okay. Tell them what it is.
Did the commercial letters go out?
yes.
All right. So you want
I got a lot of calls about those too.
Moving forward, we received our updated stormwater Tier A permit, and now there's going to be a lot more work to do relative to stormwater management. The states have different regulations. It's going to be, when I talk to our engineering firm, it's going to be a little more expensive than it has been in the past. It's going to get more onerous moving forward. We had the pre-construction meeting today for Morris Canal Greenway project. Right now, we're hoping to ground soon, once the weather cooperates and it's not frozen tundra out there. But we're hoping to have the actual walkway in place and usable by March. And then if we have to extend the contract because of the weather, and get the plantings in later on. Right now, we're trying to get the actual walkway in place for March when the weather starts turning nicer, and then put the planting when it makes sense so the vegetation actually takes hold. Again, remember, we're not going to have any irrigation out there, so we have to plant, vegetation is going to thrive in the wild and, live on the water that's given to it.
Even this happening, even the new trees?
What's that?
The new trees they put in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know this, but you have to understand, we've done it in the past, we've done river work, we've done plantings all along the Chronic, and Riverdale did too. When our plantings, 98% of them lived, Riverdale's died, so. Our plants we choose are indigenous to the area, so they seem to have a better shelf life, so. But that's going to hopefully start in the next week or two, depending on the weather. On Friday, we're taking the bids for the tree removal and stump grinding. That'll be on Friday. I'll be on the next meeting for an award. We're going to be applying to Passaic County for a community development block grant. We're going to do some more handicap ramps. As you saw in the packet, we have a very limited area where we can do the work, the low moderate area. And so we're going to continue with the handicap ramp program, and that's it.
Any questions for the administrator?
No.
One thing I just wanted to add before we go to open session. So our tax appeals, I understand, there was a lot of talk about our tax appeals, but I have to remind everybody, and I reminded everybody last night at the meeting, the county is the one that sets when we have our tax appeal. I mean, our taxes being redone. the town has no say on this. We don't say, hey, today's a good day to redo our taxes in town here. We haven't had ours done probably in 20 years. We're the last town in Passaic County to do it. The county has decided it's time for us to, so that's where this assessment comes from. It does not come from this board or town. Also, I have to address the snow issues. I did put some information out on Facebook, which I rarely do, but our town is one of the few towns in the area that allows overnight parking during the winter months. Most towns do not allow overnight parking, okay? For people who have to have concerns about parking, we need to get the cars off the street when it snows. We're asking for 24 to 48 hours. You have to find a place to put your cars so they can go curb to curb and clean the streets. If you don't go curb to curb, we've been in many towns, I'm sure all of us have been in many towns that they don't do curb to curb, you cannot get through the streets with 2 cars. I know there was a lot of talk about how dare they make me move my car, there were people who were ticketed, there were a reverse 911 call that was put on our website, it was many ways told to remove your car. Everybody should know that. And we keep getting static about this fact about moving cars. We'll end up going to no parking in the wintertime. So we have to be aware of the fact that we're one of the lucky towns that allows our residents to park overnight in the wintertime. That being said, let's move on to open session. Have to open the public session. Motion. Councilman Giaconetti. Second. Councilman Bennett. All in favor? Aye. Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Please step up.
Elaine Zablocki, 6th Street. I didn't intend to speak about this, but since you brought it up, I will. I didn't want to have a deluge of suggestions in one meeting. I had started to look into the stigma-free community last summer, and I was very surprised that there was not a town that I could find in Passaic County that had designated themselves. Most of the towns in Bergen County have done it, several in Morris, very few in Essex and Passaic County, so I'm glad to hear that that's changing. Actually, when I looked a couple of weeks ago, it seemed like Woodland Park had gone through that process. And this was something that was started by then acting Governor Richard Cody. As a matter of fact, in the fall of 2016, Stevens Institute of Technology and Ramapo College both declared their campuses stigma-free. So it's a movement that has some importance behind it. There's probably not a person in this town or this room who hasn't been affected in some way. It includes depression, mental illness, emotional illness, addiction, all kinds of things. And certainly in 2017, we should be embracing and dealing with things. So I applaud you for doing that. 20, that's right, it's 2018. Yes, that's right.
So I know what the health department brought up about that. The concern wasn't bringing in the ordinance. They didn't feel the ordinance really did anything. It didn't change anything. We would like to they wanted to do more than just the ordinance. So we will probably bring in the ordinance, it's an ordinance, but we felt, and I think the health department, if I'm speaking right, felt that we could do more than just put an ordinance in there, because it didn't really do anything, the ordinance. It just said we want to be stigma-free.
Exactly.
So we're going to reach out to the hospitals and things and see if we can make some actual movements in that direction. So I think that's where
some towns apparently have purchases that say we are a stigma community, and that was controversial. Not everybody wanted to do that. But it seemed to me that some involved the school districts. They put dance marathons at the malls in Paramus. They combined Paramus and Ridgewood doing some projects. So it's probably as much or as little as, the task force wants to do, but it's a good start. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Simone, I saw your hand up.
Thank you, Mayor. Mike Simone, West Sunny South Pompton Lakes. First of all, Happy New Year to you all, and I hope you have a great year going forward, and welcome to Kathy and Dan. Got a great town you're going to be working for. Very proud of everything that gets done here. The only thing I want to mention to you is the sign that you mentioned about for the school wanting to put it by the sports fields. I didn't see that. I wasn't at the school meeting or anything, but I just want to throw out a word of caution. Signs can be one of those things that get out of hand real quick. And my only concern would be is how big are they? How many are they? How dense are they going to be? Because it starts to look too much like craziness. You also have the fences are going to have, I'm exaggerating now, but if you were to line the fences entirely with signs, they'll blow down in the wind. So, there's some conditions that should be thought about with signs relative to how big they are, what they look like. maybe some kind of uniformity, and I'm not trying to overanalyze it, but it can look okay, it can look
Yeah, so they,
unfortunate.
what they did is they went to 5 communities that have them up already.
Mhm.
Paramus is, I think, one of them, Butler, I think, was another, Mahwah, and are taking their guidelines right now. I thought it was very progressive on the numbers of, the higher end cost of a sign was pretty high. I don't know how many businesses in our business town are going to be paying $25,000 for a sign, but we'll see. But at the end of the day, on the school property, we would have no say on it.
Yeah, well, it's still the town, and even though it might be the school fence.
We have no, that's where we're...
No, I know, it might make sense to discuss it,
Yeah,
when
sure.
you have your liaison over there, because it can be like anything in signs in town. Sign ordinance is there for a reason, and I'm not trying to overregulate, but just a word of caution from planning side.
Thank you.
Thanks, have a good one.
Anyone else? Please step up.
Lily Feliciano, Midland Avenue. I tell you, I'm glad you were discussing the base. I went to the meeting.
Which meeting?
The evaluation of the home. I got my papers,
Oh,
I
you
went
mean-
to the
okay,
meeting. And they did make some mistakes in my home. But my question is, so now by March, when are they gonna come to fix my,
First of all, the first thing you should do is call them and ask them that question.
okay?
Some of them they can do without coming to the home, I know that, they told me on something, they had made a mistake on mine. They do have to come out to the home, and normally what I've heard, if they had to come out to the home, they tried to come out that day or the next day, is what I've heard from most.
Yeah, because he said they're gonna come and check, because they put me in as a closed porch. I don't have a closed, I never had
So
a porch.
I would give
They
them
closed-
definitely a
yeah.
call and remind them of
I
that.
have a mudroom, but I don't have a closed porch. I didn't have a porch that I closed it in. And the other was, they gave me a full bath downstairs when I have a half a bath,
So then I would definitely call them again.
and one extra bedroom, so...
And you can ask them, you have this on record as this, did you make changes, or no one came to my house, and just tell them that.
Okay. And the other thing is, if they come back, you have to pay them again?
No, they're under contract for one price.
They're under contract, so
We
they
don't-
get whatever
We have one
they
fixed
get, and
price
that's
for them
it.
to do this job, yeah.
Okay. The other thing, Councilman Begg said, I was concerned at the Board of Education. I asked about the environmental of its children and the safety of our children on that platform. They answered pretty well. They said they researched it. They're doing a special right now that it's a lot better than other town has. So I was satisfied for what they're doing and what they're researching. Well, I think we have a member here from the board. And, yeah, so he answered a lot of the questions. I missed the presentation because I was at your meeting. So I missed the presentation, which was very good, I heard. And, but that was my concern. And then the other concern was the lighting, which he said, Paul said that the lighting would be that, he said that he went to a town where they had the lighting, but he had a phone call, and when he walked away like 30 feet, it was completely dark.
And the new lighting is
So the lighting didn't go to the home.
It's an
And, yeah.
LED lighting, and,
Right, and they were, they were upset, yeah, they were all upset, really, that they're not notified. They're not notified what they're doing, and, they explained,
At the end of the day, I can speak, so I'm not going to speak for the council, but I support the field. I think that most towns around us have them. If you have a young family and you're looking to move into a town, and you see a town that has them and you see a town that doesn't have them, it might make you make a decision of where you're
Right,
going to live.
it's a plus, yeah.
I think it's a bonus for the community. It's an individual choice of what they're going to do. The lights are, there's a whole, many layers to the
if
whole
everything's
thing.
done, it's a plus to our
Right,
town.
I think so.
And to
You're
our
correct.
education, too.
Right.
People with the kids, they're gonna come in the education, the sports, which is,
Right.
it's big on the sports. I wouldn't like to see, I would not like to see the football team to come there. That's really my biggest thing.
I think that is, way out there. That, everyone calls it a football, it's not a football field, at least as I see it.
I think they need to stay there. It's a lot more, people, a lot more traffic, a lot more noise. Where it is now, the parking is outrageous.
Like with any change, there's going to be growing pains.
It's gonna be
And you work
over
through
there,
them
too.
and you move forward and do the
Right,
best you can.
yeah. Well, parking.
Right.
We have that problem. We have that problem with everything else in town. So, Well, thanks for the info. I have to call them
I would
in,
definitely call, yes.
because they did make the mistake, but they didn't never
I would
call me
definitely
back
call
to come or to,
I know some residents that they didn't show up and some they did. So some they can do right in the office, some they came out and looked.
yeah, no, he specific said he has to come back,
No, they should call them.
so they should, I should call. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address?
Yeah, Randy Hinton, 443 Montclair Avenue. Speaking for the Shade Tree Commission, I talked to our grower, and very busy before the holidays and couldn't get to replanting the dead pines behind the tennis court. It's still on his radar. Those pines died not because of what he did. Those pines died because of what we didn't do. In the conversation about watering, was something that I had a discussion with you about, and possibly could have a discussion with our new superintendent, O'Rourke, about getting some kind of apparatus for plantings on the Morris Canal Greenway, and the $30,000 CSIP grant that we received. We're looking to do our plantings in the fall just because of that situation. Plantings in the spring, again, we're not really set up for watering town trees. We're pushing that grant off into the fall so that we can let the winter and the spring water the trees.
Well, I'm hoping that with, when our new supervisor gets intact, you can have a conversation with him and make that suggestion to him, and if he feels it's something he can do, and he brings it to us, we'll see what we can do. Let's go back to the pine trees, though. I thought we had talked about maybe not putting pine trees back there, a different type of tree.
Well, it's a tree that, I forgot the exact name of it right now myself, but it's something that the deer won't eat. And the aspect of those trees dying were because...
No, I'm not worried about the dying, I was more worried about the needle of tennis courts.
It doesn't lose its needles. It's not a tree that loses its needles.
I see a lot of needles. There was a lot of complaints from the tennis department about the needles.
Well, that's still something we have to work on.
So those are different trees?
Yeah. Yes, they are. Yes,
Okay.
they are. Yes, they're not a white pine.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
they're not a white pine like they're there.
Okay.
We still have to talk about that.
Okay.
As to what we want to do with those trees. Maybe when the new superintendent starts, we could have a discussion on that and see what we can do with that. Also about the signs on the, that you were talking about on the fencing in the flood areas, like Councilman Simone was talking about, the wind, but now in a flood area, water could...
These are not solid signs, these are cloth signs with holes in them, that wind blows through.
Oh, okay. The wind,
That kind of deal, yeah.
The wind and water would go.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up. We don't usually let twice, but we'll let you know.
Should have stayed up here, right? I just want an explanation on this. I became the president of the Golden Angels in Pompton Lakes. How does it work with the buses? Because no one's explaining it.
Which buses?
I know the town, we get a budget, and we pay...
Budget or buses?
Well, the budget's for the buses, where
Budget
we
for the
have
buses, okay.
trips and things.
Yes.
Do you happen to know how we go into that budget? Does the state pay, does the county pay?
First of all, do we have a budget for the seniors for busing? For busing or for budget?
$8,000 for each organization for buses.
Okay, so then
8,000.
you guys would be responsible to hiring if you need it for
So
trips.
if we give you the list, is that how it works? We do
I
the
never
trips?
dealt with anybody in the middle for that.
Oh, well, here I am.
Say this, if you have a budget for busing, they have to put in a request for
Well,
busing.
they do that.
Yeah, we have to put it-
I found out it was pro trip with you with the, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know the...
Yeah, so once we put our
logistics.
trips together, I'll give you the
Well,
list,
this
is that?
saying maybe Barbara Frank can help you.
Barbara Frank.
Oh, okay. So then Sue will help me to put all that together.
Help you do the vouchers.
Because
Okay,
I know that when we do the senior picnic, for example, we would like a bus to sometimes pick up the seniors.
right.
Right, and we actually have a driver that said he'll drive now, because last time we didn't have a driver.
Oh, I was
We had
wondering
the
who was
bus.
driving, because they told me about that,
Right,
yeah.
so, those are the kind of things that we should try to think of in advance for and try to get people there. I'm gonna do it. That would be
Yes,
great.
because a lot of seniors, they can't come to the
Right,
meeting
yeah.
unless they have a ride. So I'm
get a
trying
lot
to
of
figure
issues.
out how I can work that out, but,
We don't have
I
a
won't
bus,
call
I
you.
will tell you that.
no, we're not gonna get the bus for that. I think I'm gonna work that out.
Okay.
But that helped a lot, so I'll get in touch with Barbara. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one, should close the public session. So moved. Councilman Bennett. Councilman Branco. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Privilege of the floor.
I'd just like to welcome Daniel O'Rourke and Kathy Trost to the borough family, and I look forward to working with you, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of you. Congratulations.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, motion to adjourn into closed session. So moved. Councilman Giaconetti. Councilman Branco. Thank you for coming. Second, Councilman Bennett and Councilman Giaconetti. All in favor? Aye. Against? In the closed session, we talked about negotiation. Motion to adjourn. So moved. Councilman Giaconetti, Councilman Branco.